Recording. Change of plans. Omega X Falloria X Cephia Chaster and Mithray. By the one, the only, Scribe's Master. Note A. This is a continuation of the original Omega X Falloria fanfiction. This work is completely fictional. Any resemblance to reality is purely coincidental. Now, Omega and Floria totally like each other. Note B. Using female pronouns for Falloria to be more clear with the character being described. Also, it's more kinky for a girl to have a dick. Oh. Now it begins. Since their last encounter, all Omega could think of was Falloria. Her lustrous blonde hair, her sparkling blue eyes, her soft pale skin, massive member, his mind filled with nothing but Falloria in the nude. Not even the entire banning of the cult fazed him. Falloria became everything to him. Through the hardships of Rogue, he had no interest with the cult. Only Falloria. On the outside, he was happy and joyful to be with his brothers. On the inside, however, his heart filled with sorrow, his personality a facade. Many months passed, and the Divine Leader decided to look back to the stars once again for his true, undeniable love. The great chieftain built a shiny new starbase, fitted with all of the up-to-date gizmos. Beginning to fall asleep in the seat of his X1, he made the final decision to restart his search tomorrow. His heart sank. Another day, the chieftain muttered, "Please come back to me, Falloria. I miss you so much. I need you with me." System, your friend Falloria has joined. His heart jumped. He couldn't believe his eyes. Was he just growing too tired? Omega rubbed his eyes. It was real. He let out the primal roar. Oh! His mighty call echoed through the halls of the Mega Base. Falloria! He bellowed. Falloria's eyes widened. She as well had been searching all this time for her true love. She remembered the fateful encounter. She couldn't contain herself. A raging boner peeked from her white skirt. Omega ran through the halls, desperately searching for her. Omega suddenly turned a corner into the sleeping chambers and collided into her, launching himself onto her delicate body. He couldn't help but feel it. The queen of Cryuvia's hard 10-inch cock. For a moment, they laid still, Omega on top of Falloria. But as all similar situations go, Omega embraced Falloria and began to interlock lips. Falloria let out a soft moan and hugged her lover back. Omega got up and with a flash removed the pair's clothing and tossed them into a corner. Omega grabbed Floria's delicate head and shoved all 12 inches of his throbbing cock into the queen's lips. The queen's eyes splayed as she began to reach down and stroke her eager member, her whole member trembling at the idea of being nothing but the mouth hole to a dominant lover. Omega began reaching deeper and deeper into Floria's mouth while letting out traces of pre-cum down her throat. I'm gonna! Omega was stopped by Falloria's sudden reaction to his words. She yanked her head from Omega's firm grasp. Who said you could come yet? Falloria said, like any other fucking anime hentai whore. If you come now, that might not be enough to go inside of me. That just isn't right, she continued in a condescending tone. She began teasing Omega's desperate cock with her tongue. Omega just couldn't hold it in. His cock erupted with thick, fertile ropes of his seed and poured all over the queen's face. Falloria eagerly shoved Omega's cock down her throat once more to clean it off. Omega let out a loud grunt. Falloria wiped her face clean and eagerly licked off the erotic frosting from her fingertips. Looks like I have to punish you now, said the slutty queen. She got up and pushed Omega over. Omega's eyes widened. He forgot to take off one of her boots. The queen lifted a thin leg and stomped on Omega's sensitive rod with the heel of her boot. Omega's body jolted with a burning pain. His screams echoed through the halls of the mega base. This pain was known as the bane of man. Omega doubled up onto the floor, grasping his dick between his hands. Oh, poor Omega. I haven't even reached the main course. Although, I'm sorry to say, but the punishment isn't over yet. How about this? A change of plans. Let's make this a little more fun. More fun for me, at least, said Falloria. The queen snapped her fingers. The automatic sliding glass doors let out a hiss. 2 sets of boots could be heard entering the room. Omega opened his eyes. Although blinded by the bright ceiling lights, he knew the 3 silhouettes that loomed over his crumpled body were Sephia, Chaster, Mithray, the queen's very own loyal servants. Already naked, the 3 joined into the fray, tossing Omega's limp body into a soft bed. Chastia dove onto Omega's limp dick and began sucking it, slowly reviving it. She flipped Omega on top of her, letting him crush her delicate body. Omega, being the fucking horny ass nigger he was, knew what was coming. Sephia suddenly shoved a humongous 13-inch rod down Omega's throat. Omega's eyes watered and began to gag. Massive amounts of mucus erupted from Omega's throat and poured out of his mouth, further lubricating Sephia's massive cock. Mithray, meanwhile, splayed Omega's legs apart, and Omega felt something poke his butt. His eyes widened before he could react. Mithray rammed her equally massive cock into his rear end. Omega let out a muffled moan through Heffia's hard, thrusting cock. Oh boy, seems like you're enjoying this, Mega. That was quite unexpected. Looks like I'll have to join in, exclaimed Falloria. Falloria's cock grew an extra inch, for this was the first time in months she was this excited. She appeared by Mithray's side. She poked Omega's wet asshole, trying to find a way in to share with her dear servant. It took a few seconds, but finally, with one explosive thrust, Falloria's cock burrowed into Omega's insides. Omega's butt, already loose from Mithray, gladly took up Falloria's eager cock. Falloria and Mithray's throbbing members caressed Omega's prostate like nothing had done before. With each thrust, Omega let out a moan. The blonde quartet began to speed up their movements, each thrust more powerful and faster than the previous. Omega knew what was happening. Finally, Omega couldn't take such pleasure and dominance any longer. His throat tightened, and his inside walls constricted Falloria Mithrae's girthy cocks. Falloria, Mithrae, and Saphia all simultaneously rammed their thick cocks into Omega's deepest with an explosive force. From each of their dicks came a fountain of sweet, sticky spunk, all pouring into Omega. Omega let out one final load in the chest air, which filled her throat and leaked out, causing her to come just as much. The five laid there for a minute, breathing heavily. The queen and her servants all withdrew their tired penises from Omega, and Chastere pulled her mouth away from Omega's cock, gasping for air and cum pouring out from her throat. Omega, now a crumpled fuck toy on the bed, let out one final sigh before passing out. The exhausted queen and tired her servants all collapsed over Omega and fell asleep. The three loyal servants and the two lovers intertwined and sleep in a pool of thick, white, oozing cream. All was quiet, and the two lovers finally became one. Once again. Happy birthday, Omega. Love, the cult.